what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense,
E1 letter.
Best believe it's like that. Ever since 99, we ain't never looked back. We was outside selling CDs like it's crack. Portsville, Rivertown, you can call that the trap. We speak what we live, that's what put us on the map. It ain't where you from, better yet it's where you at. When you got the type of drive that can never be slowed, put to a halt or even reprove. You can get it how you want it, coming back counting hundreds. To this day, ain't nobody ever do it how we done it. Make them sick to their stomach, but they know they don't want it. You can try your hand, but you never try again. I live the type of life where it ain't no rules. I put my fam first, ain't no way that I'ma lose. I was taught from the start, best to always play your part. And now the find success when you live what's in your heart.
Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean.
Now or never.
Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean.
I'm on take credit. Let's go.
We wanted that De Niro started out from ground zero. Create a local buzz because of hometown heroes. It was day after day, lot after lot. Police over there, go to the next spot. The people had to love it, did it all with no budget. Ain't nobody give a shit. We was feeling like fuck it. If we wait on you, then we won't have. So we hit the streets and got green like grass. And I can bet you this, we in probably every home from Delaware to Tennessee and why they even roam. From the young to the grown, all the proof been shown. Had to get it on your own, no worries, I'm gone. You can hear it in my tone, my life was real, not fake. You can tell by the beat, RD got bass. I was taught from the start, best to always play your part. And I define success when you live what's in your heart.
Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean.
Ever met a group of dudes who ain't never changed the mode? In the hot, in the snow, in the sun, in the cold. Cause I remember days when the money wasn't flowing. All we had was each other, still had to stay focused. We argued and we fought, get it right or pay the price. That's just the way it is, everybody gave they life. If I could do it all again, I'd probably do it twice. If you ain't moving forward, what you doing with your life? We had one common goal, we gon' get that pot of gold. To the point it can't fold, I ain't working till I'm old. Matter of fact, I'm a plan to do an early retire. But that's what you can do when the world on fire. Cause what you did would change the face of music. Ain't nobody show us how, but we still know how to do it. I was taught from the start, best to always play your part. And I define success when you live what's in your heart.
Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. Know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, know what they might mean. When they speak us in sense, when they speak us in sense, when they speak us in sense, when they speak us in sense.
Yo, what it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome back to It's Another Deuce Pod. You know what I'm saying? I got the squad on here. You know what I'm saying? I got my man E1 on here right now today. What's going on with you, E?
What's good with you?
Ain't too much. I can't complain, man. Another day above ground is a blessed day. You know?
Yeah,
But today we got we got a vet on this joint, and I'm waiting on Black to come in here too. We got a couple podcast vets. I wouldn't even be doing this podcast thing if it wasn't for E in the rec room, and my man Black's supposed to be coming in shortly. He got a podcast as well on this Podbean thing called On My Way to Church. So like I say, it's great brothers in here, so we're gonna have a great conversation. But basically this episode, like I say, season 1, episode 4, it's called HOV Did. You know, we're gonna get into why it's called HOV Did, but I mean, I guess y'all can already hear. Y'all heard the sample with it that John just played. That was E1 just playing Success. So you know, that's just a little breadcrumb. That's just a little snippet. But we're gonna get into that question of what HOV did. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna start it. We're gonna take it all the way back to the very beginning. Like when, you know, because a lot of people may not know E1 Letter is my cousin, or E1 or however you want, you know, you know, say Everett. A lot of people know in different ways, but that's my cousin, actually blood family from my father's side. And I just want you to go all the way back to, like, you don't got to go into the basketball, but a lot of people know you from the basketball. People still bring it up to this day. They be like, oh yeah, back with Tony Reed, Tony Bethel, or, you know, like he was a dog in the basketball. Speaking of that, the other day I was with DB, right? And we watching the Olympics.
Yeah.
This nigga LeBron came, caught a alley-oop off the joint. I was like, I used to do like that back in the day. DB like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, nah, nigga, not me. He used to do like that. I'm dead ass, nigga. I used to throw the motherfucker too. I couldn't catch the shit like that.
Yeah, hoop was the, you know, hoop is what I thought was gonna be my dream. But you know, as you kids and shit, all that sports, you feel like you could be doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was a childhood little dream. You know what I'm saying?
Now you was definitely a dog.
But yeah, I mean, I was into this. I was into the sports. You know what I mean? Basketball, football, the county sports, and all that. I wanted to do the AAU thing. It's funny because I remember my man. This was when AAU at first started. I was in elementary school. I never forget my man Wesley Key, and he would always talk about his AAU team. But I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was different from the county sports. So I always wanted to do the AAU. But I never got, you know what I'm saying, I never got a chance to do that. But yeah, coming up early, it was all about the sports, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But basically, like, so I'm just piggybacking from that question. Like, how did you get from the point, you know, where you was doing sports and, like, so you kind of made a transition and we started doing the music. I mean, like I said, we family, whatever. My uncle had the DU Records. I mean, your uncle is my father, had started DU Records, but I mean, because a lot of people look from the outside looking in, but like, damn, how the fuck he do that? This nigga, he did the hoop dreams and he did the basketball. That's where everybody wanted to rap or, you know, do sports.
So how it started, I mean, it was a thing that, you know, we came from a family or come from a family of musicians. And by that being the case, we was all, and when you always around something, it filtrates through you, even if you're not really paying attention to it. So we would have, you know, we had this thing called, it was a family picnic, almost like a family reunion area. And they called it the August picnic. And at this August picnic, we would have, like talent shows. And at first, you know, my uncle would, write raps for us and we would rap them, the talent shows and stuff like that. And, after that so it was just normal. It was just like, that's what we did at first. And, fast forward, we would do the talent shows. He would write the raps. Rapping wasn't, I remember I had a little group back in the day, a fake group called ER Everett and the Gift Fresh Crew.
Oh yeah.
You know that shit old. When you call something the Gift Fresh Crew, you know that shit was back in Dougie Fresh and shit. I sound old as shit, but.
Hey, but keep in mind, we were 5 though. They not dating ourselves, but we were probably 2, 3, 4, 5. We was little.
Nah, yeah, we was young as shit. And then, but rap it was nothing that I was taking serious. And then let's just fast forward, even though we was around music, our parents was into music, doing shows and stuff like that. It was just something that was around, nothing that I was really thinking about taking serious. And then what happened in high school, I started freestyling, still never thinking about like doing it serious, and just free, you know, smoke freestyle. And we just did it like as a pastime. I mean, it was no heavy thought into it. But then what happened is when, what happened one day, my uncle lived close to me. We all lived in the same vicinity, and I happened to be walking, Zoe, we got a cousin who's always in the studio too. And I just happened to be walking, to your house, Deuce. And then, and somehow Zoe was in there recording and he asked me he said that, somebody had told him that I could freestyle. And I said, yeah, you know what I'm saying? He said, why don't you get in the booth, you know what I'm saying, and do it. And I got in the booth, and that tape, I wish I still had that tape because it was the first time I ever freestyled, and we did tape it. But that shit gone now. But so I freestyled, and my cousin, he was surprised because he had no clue that I could rap. And then from there, we formed a group, it was, I mean, we was freestyling, but then from there, our uncle formed a group. We formed a group. It was Deuce, my other cousin MLG, and I was about 18 at that time, and we started taking it serious from that point on. So I started taking music seriously at the age of 18, which was after I graduated from high school.
Yeah, and that shit was I can co-sign with that because, like you said, I was 17 at the time. You know what I'm saying? We were doing the same stuff with the educational CDs, so it was just a lot going on at that time. We were getting in BET News, Washington Post at the same time. We were starting a group, and our first couple songs made radio, which is kind of crazy to me. I always remember that. Like when we first did our first couple joints, we made it on radio, but and we ended up doing a whole group album, The Fam, Rookie of the Year. That joint, we had another little EPs and whatnot, two, 3 EPs. But that joint ended up getting to the border books. I mean, we had that in the stores. But the point I'm getting to is like, I'm just long story short, that whole group thing, we going to go from, how did we, because eventually, we getting older or whatever, and different studio stuff went different ways. So the group, I won't say the group necessarily, because like you said, we're all cousins. So technically we never broke up. We never even discussed that. But I mean, at some point you started going solo. You know what I mean? So I just want you to explain that process of like, because at one point you were the first to go solo, actually, I believe.
So I don't even know if I ever shared this before, right? But so I had never had intentions on being a solo group. We were in a group. It was called A Fam. We put out a dope CD, and I had never envisioned myself being a solo. I never really even thought about it. Even though on that project we had solo songs, I never thought about being a solo artist. But what happened is, when we put the Fam album out, sometime I would go around the way, and then people would say, would make comments like, E, the CD tight, but I think you should go solo, right? So I heard that about 3 or 4 times by 3 or 4 different people, but I'm thinking to myself, well, y'all know me. So, everybody going, what I'm saying? I'm the one that they know the most. So that's what they're going to say. So I never really took it to heart. I'm just like, nah, I'm with the group. I wasn't even thinking like that. But what happened is we had at that point we had a label, or my uncle had a label called DU Records, and he had signed 2 artists. He had signed an artist named Bobcat, and he signed an artist named Lemmy, and Lemmy was a female R&B artist. And what happened is Lemmy was making her album, and on one of the songs she had a feature, and the feature was the feature artist was Bobcat. Bobcat ended up getting locked up. And so now there was no feature on the song, right? So at that time, I was really passionate about music, and I was coming to the studio every day, that type of thing, because I wanted to record and make music. And, we were selling the CDs and stuff. So in my mind, I wanted to be the person to replace, I wanted to be the person to be the feature, right? But of course, it wasn't my decision. And so whatever. So one day I came into the studio, and nobody knew that I was in the studio. And so I could overhear my uncle talking. And I couldn't hear everything, but I heard him say, I could hear the artist Lemmy. She was saying something like, do you think they're going to be mad? Or something. She said something like that, but I couldn't hear the whole conversation. And then my uncle was like, them niggas better not be mad because da-da-da-da-da or whatever like that. And, but he couldn't, but they didn't even know that I was in it. I could hear them. And then they decided that you were going to be the person that to be on the feature. Now, I don't know if that's what she requested or if that's what he wanted. I don't know, but I just know that when I heard that, I left. Like I left out the studio, and for some reason, it made me feel like I wasn't in control of my path or my life, right? So when I left, I went to my man's house, and we was hitting the weights. I went straight to his house, and I was like, man, you know what? I'm about to go solo. And I wasn't mad, but it was like a learning lesson. It's like when when it's your thing and you control it and you paying the money, you make all the decisions. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way that it goes. Yeah. So it was an early learning lesson because I felt like somebody was in control of my future. You feel what I'm saying? Like I felt like I know who I was and what I wanted to do, but now I got somebody that's in control of that. It wasn't a bad thing. That's the way it go. But it made me say I need to be in control of myself. You know what I'm saying? I need to be in control of what happens for me, not somebody else. And that was my thought process. And that day, that's what made me go solo. But I wasn't even thinking about it. until that incident happened. And that just sparked something in me, to, just be in control of my own path, or what I felt like being in control of my own path. And that's what made me, go solo. You know what I'm saying? So, and then at that time, I was also moving like at a faster pace. I felt like I would have my verses finished quick and stuff like that. So it was just a combination of everything that made me just say, but that was the deciding factor. Then I just started, going solo.
Now that's crazy because I never, like you said, I never really did know that. I think I kind of could sense that or feel that or something. Maybe you had to told me something around that, but not exactly how you just articulated it right now. Because the crazy thing about back then, people used to always be like, dude, you tight. I would hear that too from people. You should go solo. But what people would never realize, and I wouldn't admit to them, I could never get more than a verse or so done. Like I just had the muscle memory from doing the group.
Yeah.
I could get a verse done quick. Then when I try to go to the second one, it's like, so but over time, so like I said, you definitely were the first out the gate. You know what I mean? So, your flowers credit due, because I mean, you could have took that negatively and be like, oh, fuck them niggas. You just took it as motivational wise. You know what I'm saying? Like, it inspired you. You're a human, so he might have irritated you a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't an irritation. It was just a reality check. And it's just like when you young, you had to go through experiences, and I never had the nothing never happened to me like that where it made me feel like that. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to, be in control of what I believe in me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I realize like I don't see what I see or what I feel. So I have to be in control of that. And it was the best thing that could have happened. It wasn't a bad thing. When you the boss, you the boss. You feel what I'm saying? And you make those decisions. So that's all it was, but it was a spark that I needed is what was needed. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't let it happen, no other way.
Now and again, and aside from my shortcomings of on technically getting verses done or whatever, as far as solo, it was needed just for us, just because I always seen the pattern of what you did, and that's how I knew how to do what I'm doing now. To be honest with you, and I'm using that to piggyback it back into like how when you started bossing up. Next thing you know, it was good for everybody. Zoe was making beats for us still. You were still dealing with everybody, but you bringing Zoe, your man Tehran, Royal District. I'm coming up there doing some of my verses over with Priest, Priest the Nomad. Shout out to Priest the Nomad. We was going to Omega and doing some sessions with them. So just talk how you end up, because a lot of people know Priest the Nomad as a rapper, but some people know too that he's a beast with the engineering. He was doing a lot of your first solo stuff. So just talk a little bit on how those sessions went and how that even happened.
So what happened was that I was we were going to I was going to our studio to record, but I was trying to check like a bigger sound. You know what I mean? Like I wanted the sound and everything to compete with the stuff that was on the radio. And so I was thinking to myself, I think I learned Omega was through you, because you was going there for school and everything like that. And then I don't remember. I just knew it was a big studio, and I wanted to see if they had studio time and all that type of stuff, right? So what I did was I inquired about, who the producers were there, and then they told me about Priest. When I first went there and recorded, it felt great to me, man, because it was a different environment than what I was used to recording. And he was a great, he could mix, master, all that. It just felt like I was stepping into, a bigger realm or whatever like that. And that's how that kind of started. And it was pushback from that. I don't know if you remember, but it was pushback because at that time, we sold educational product. My uncle made some educational products through music that we sold hand to hand on the street. And the way that everything was, it was like in order to really record music, we had to sell the CDs because the CDs is what paid the rent for the studio or whatever like that. So we sold CDs on a regular basis, but there were times where that I didn't go all the time, and so it was pushback because sometimes when I would want to record, my cousin and uncles and them, they may have wanted to. They were out selling CDs. It's hot outside. I'm saying they might not have sold that many, and they come back, and I'm here like, hey, what's up? I'm trying to do some music. And they just like, man, nigga, we were just outside doing this and doing that, and then you come in, you want to do some music. So it was, you know what I'm saying? It was like a pushback. Me, I'm thinking like, yeah, but I thought we was here to do music. Like you saw, it was one of them things like that. And then it was a little pushback because I was recording I was recording at the bigger studio, but Zoe felt like that I could be giving the money to our studio. But it wasn't about the
Yeah, I
money.
remember
You
that.
feel what I'm saying? It wasn't about the money. I just was trying to get a bigger sound. That's it. I was trying to get the best quality sound that I could get. But that's how but at the end of the day, they ended up respecting what I was doing because it wasn't about, I wasn't trying to do anything but do music. That was the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? All of it, right? So that's how I started recording with Priest and started working with him. And I think that project was that, I can't even think of if that was my first project or what that was, but it was
Well,
singles that I was doing
that,
with Priest.
I got not to cut you off. I remember exactly. You had started doing your first solo EP. You know what I'm saying? That
Okay,
way you
that's what
talking,
it
I walk
was.
it, that
Okay,
joint.
you
But then
right, you right.
it continued on after that because you dealt with Priest for a little bit. And that was basically what I was about to go into next when you had the Now or Never project. Cause I think maybe those 2 or 3 of them songs, maybe all of those songs on the EP was on the project, but it was a mixtape you did with Dre All Day in the Paint. Again, shout out to Dre All Day in the Paint. He pretty big. He doing some good stuff right now. If y'all look him up, he's doing some great stuff. But Dre All Day, he always he always look out for everybody at DMV. But so we used to deal with him a lot, and you could tap into that. We used to deal with him a lot in open mics. So you took it upon yourself to put him on to host your mixtape. And
I
like I
did,
say,
man.
yeah, we was recording up
Go
there with
ahead.
Priest up there. Them songs, I believe.
Yeah, that is what it is. And yes, so by you saying that, I'm gonna segue into the rap scene was back then. The rap scene was back then. How I even met All Day in the Paint is it was a big open mic circuit. And when you live in other states, I don't know how other states have outlets. I always hear that, this state got rappers and they don't play their music in this state. Maybe it's like that from state to state, but it was like that here. And it wasn't really like a big music scene. Even to this day, if you really think about it, there's only one really big commercial artist. There's other artists that have been successful, but I'm talking about one rapper that's been commercially successful, and that's Wale. Or at least on that magnitude, right? So even back then, it was even worse. You know what I mean? It wasn't a big rap scene or a national rap scene. It was a whole bunch of rappers in the area, but nobody was really getting on like that. And the circuit was the mixtape circuit, and there was mixtapes on U Street, and Dre All Day in the Paint hosted a mixtape. I'm sorry, he hosted an open mic at the Legend nightclub, and I think it was Thursday nights, man. And I love
Yeah, I
that
think
joint
so. I think so. Yeah.
because the Legend joint, it had an actual stage, and when you got on the stage, the sound was good. It felt like you was performing like shit, even though it was a lot of just other rappers in the crowd. Sometimes it'd be other people, but it was a dope outlet. It was a dope spot. And you sign your name, go up that joint. I never forget them days, man. That was some of the best days when I was really, really chasing the music. And it was networking, you know what I'm saying? We was doing that, and then asking to host the mic. Host the mixtape. All he wanted was some drink, a bottle, something like that. He did it off the strength. And he came and hosted the joint. And that's how I ended up hooking up with Dre All Day in the Paint, who's a pioneer in the DMV area, man.
Yeah, I believe he had something to do when we was going back to the DMV awards. He had something to do with setting that up. Like he always trying to get back to the DMV. Like if we never had one, we had one with him. Like as far as somebody that's here that's trying to put people on here, and he's still doing
For
that to this
sure.
day. Like, but I'm gonna use that to piggyback into this pretty much the same thing. Like how did you get about with the World Star? Because I was going to World Star Hip Hop the other day. They still got one of your videos from the You Talking I Walking project, the first video you ever did. But for some reason they deleted the one you had with you was up in Omega Studios. You had Priest,
Oh,
you had
okay.
Dre in there.
Yeah.
For some reason that was not on there no more. I don't know why.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's
So
about 2 videos on there.
so the World Star thing came about because so World Star, people still know about World Star, but back when World Star was out, then it was new, it was fresh, and the thing was to get your video on World Star Hip Hop. I had filmed the video, what was it, You Talk It, I Walk It. I can't remember who filmed this shit. My memory would be
Now
fucked
that was
up,
my man
but
Rupesh. Now that was my
oh,
cousin.
that's
I'm thinking
right,
about it.
Rupesh.
Cause
I forgot
that's when
all
I
about
first
this
started doing
shit.
AV. That was my first actual AV job,
Dang.
and I forgot about it. Nobody liked that dude. Shout out to Rupesh though. I mean, you know that.
Oh,
They was like, oh,
yeah.
that guy's irritating a little bit. But he's Indian.
Okay.
Respect the Indians. Kamala, everybody. We respect the Indians.
Okay.
But like,
So Rupesh, that's
he
right.
was on his shit though. He was on his shit. We at that
He
time. Now I'm thinking
was.
back to it. You refresh him. I remember we talking about it. We didn't know how to really fully upload that to YouTube clearly either too. But like, as
Nah,
far as
none
him
of
being,
that.
but he's supposed to know that too. Like that's what the service you're part of. You're paying for it too. So it just like you said, that was early, man. That's early internet time. You know what I'm saying? That was probably 2004,
It,
3
it
or something.
was. And back then it was pay to play just like it is now. And I think with World Star you could I think you could just submit and pay. Well, they would have to select you. I can't even remember. I think you could pay to have your, user submitted. So I think you could pay to have your joint on there. I think that's what I did. And the dope thing about World Star is that back then everybody was looking at World Star. I remember going to a store and somebody I knew was like, man, yeah, I seen your joint on World Star. So that made me feel good because, at that time, at least everybody in our age bracket, everybody looked at World Star Hip Hop at that time. So that's how I did that. You know what I mean? And I was doing that and still trying to do the open mic circuit thing.
And speaking of, publishing, not publishing, I'm sorry, promotion and marketing, like you say, that was the thing back then. World Star, on Smash. Right now, like, I feel like the podcast is the big thing like that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I see we got Black on here. You can say something you want to now. You cool, Black. You might be sitting there stuffing your mouth with a chicken wing. I know I am. I keep hitting mute and eating these ribs and chicken. But we got Black on there again. I'm on my way to church. And I just had to give you your flowers too, Black. Because again, I wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for Black. And it's just like, same thing. You can go into that story a little bit if you want to about the podcast thing, but we can talk about that later though. I'll just give you an intro, Black.
You there, Black? He green, but I don't hear him.
Yeah, it is kind of strange.
Yeah. Now I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Nah, I was just, sitting back, just listening, you and, dudes going back and forth, man. Just taking it all in. I didn't know, the music thing went back like that, so I'm just, taking it all in, man.
Oh yeah. It go way back. The next question going to kind of mess your head up too, because I don't think E probably even remember, because I sent E the questions, but I added some stuff in there just to trip him up a little bit. But the next joint is like, E, I want you to explain how your brand, because like, again, I'm going to Zoe. I'm all over the place. Zoe had go-go. He was heavy in the go-go world, like we in the hip hop world. Our producer Zoe that did the fam. So a lot of people would know him, and he's DJ Zoe now. He produced on my new project. But my point is, Zoe used to have Epitome Band, Certified Funk. So at what point you had your brand of hip hop in go-go version where Zoe and his band would come replay our stuff in clubs. We was even on Comcast TV, on cable TV for one time. I'll never forget that day because I came in there and seen that with my daughter was in there, my baby mother, her family, and I was like, "That's you on TV?" That shit was great.
So, back then I was chasing music heavily and I was trying to do whatever it took. I was, recording and staying up 24 hours and would go to work. I was very determined and very ambitious, at that time. And, we were always around music. So having a live element was just natural. And, I can't think of how I don't even remember how I got the shows or how that happened.
But you know what it was? Like you say, it was right there. And like, it may have been Zoe had started. Who knows where it started? But I remember now you talking about it, you was going to band practice. Like you was in the go-go band. We had a couple times we went to practice and all that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have no shows.
Yeah, because
this is how they do.
Well, because I had what you call a mixtape release party.
Right. I remember that.
I can't think of the name of that. I can't think of it. It was nice though. I can't think of the name of the spot. But basically, the bottom line is,
I know you're talking about U Street.
Yeah. But the bottom line, Zoe was already plugged in. He was already playing in bands, and I think I just asked him. You know what I'm saying? I just told him what I was trying to do. Told him I needed a band. He got his band members to do it. We've been practice, and we did a couple joints like that, man. We did a joint in Fort Washington, and then at my mixtape release joint. Yeah. So that's what happened. We was already plugged in. Zoe was a go-go guru because that was his era. I mean, go-go spans through many eras, but he was at the kind of like close to the beginning type of it. And so he was plugged in, all band members from everywhere. And that's how that started with playing with the bands for a few times.
Yeah, that shit was fun though. That shit was a different type of energy. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna transition to that into because like that's underground DC. I'm transitioning to some underground worldwide stuff that some people don't realize. And I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct, but I know you had to be in the top 3 to 5 of DMV artists that were on the Gangsta Grills CD at that time. When Gangsta Grills was popping. And I'll give myself a little flowers. I met the dude Wild Child DNA that kind of put you in the door. But at that time again, I wasn't ready I wasn't ready. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the music. But just talk about how you got on Gangsta Grills.
You did meet DNA. I got on Gangsta Grills because you always been, and to this day, one of the best networking promotional people that exists. Everybody who know you know that. And so you was doing that way back then. And I don't know how you bumped into DNA, but whatever you did, you hooked us up. And he was plugged in with what's my man? Not DJ Clue, but what's my man? What's the other one name?
Oh yeah,
D?
DJ Drama. Over the can.
Yeah, DJ. Yeah. No, it was Drama. I think it was Drama, and he was plugged in with him, and he was putting in tapes. I mean, he was putting out tapes, so it was like in a collaboration with DNA and DJ Drama, and he got me on that joint. So that was another, little milestone for me. It was like a collaboration with them two, but I was on the tape with a lot of other, dope artists that was out there. So that's how that happened. And DNA
Now,
still do his thing.
yeah, I seen him maybe like a couple months ago. I seen him in the club. I was like, oh man, he's still doing his thing.
Yeah.
But now we talk about it. I think I just flashed back myself because we were selling CDs too heavy at the same time. I think I met him at Patasco Flea Market, if I'm not wrong. I think I met him at Patasco Flea Market. Yep, exactly where I met him. And I probably gave him that You Talking I Walking EP that you had, most likely, because he probably liked the song on that joint. Now I'm thinking back though, you know what I mean?
Hell yeah, we was trying to do anything we could back then.
We was moving around a lot. And I'm in transition to that when we was moving around too on the kids' educational tip. Like we had like you said mentioned earlier, we had multiplication hip hop. It's elementary. This subtraction. We had a couple different, three, four different kids actually had educational CDs that taught kids their math through music, science, geography, different things like that. They're more than four. It's probably up to 10 products now. I'm not even sure. We had DVDs. We had the stage show. But the point I'm getting to, we had one time we went up to TJ Martell. And I'm just, got to go. I got his questions broken down, but just explain that. What's TJ Martell and how because that was a ball. I had fun up that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like there was a lot of celebrities in that joint.
So TJ Martell was, it was a guy who he had a foundation, I think, or something like that. And, he had an event every year, and it was like a private event. And so this event was basically, it seems like it was for kids. So we brought out the characters that my uncle had. And it seemed like it was for kids, and it was like a private event. But it seemed like the kids were kids of music executives. Well, that's what it seemed like. I'm not sure, but that's what I remember it being like. And it was an event we would go to every year. But one particular year we went, and we didn't know, but it was like a star-studded joint, man. They had Nick Cannon was hosting it.
Right.
Nia Long was in the joint.
Right. Trey Songz, Irv Gotti.
Trey Songz in it. And the crazy part is this was when Trey Songz, like, if it was before, it was like he was out, but it was before he was like Trey Songz because they was walking past him in the joint like he was, like nobody, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to see how things transition.
Now that you say that, I just flashed back. He was boosted to take a picture with me, and I was like, "What the fuck going on?" But I ain't realized like he was happy that somebody, you know what I'm saying? I knew who the fuck he was.
Yeah, it was when he had the braids. I mean, he was out and everything, but it just wasn't. He wasn't. For an event like that, it wasn't like his own concert. But at that time, it was before he like really became the like superstar Trey Songz. There was a lot of people at that event. And I know you was going to ask about the Jay-Z part, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because that's the title of this episode. HOV did. Even though it's all about E1, that's why I started off with the whole sample. I went there. This is the question question of the hour. Because I met him too. Me and E were both standing there. I'm going to give my side, but I'm going to let E get his side first. What did HOV do? Because me and E met this nigga face to face in the flesh. What did HOV do when we seen him?
Well, so the first thing is this. So at the event, there was a lot of stars. At that time, I'm feeling like, you know what I'm saying, I'm E1, I got my braids and shit, and, we feeling good because we up there with the who's is who's. And Irv Gotti was up there, and, I took a picture with Irv Gotti, but he just saying, I ain't like his vibe, you know what I mean? He just seemed funny acting, but nonetheless, for me, I feel like I'm the type of person that I'm not a starstruck person. Like, I'm not a person that'll see a star and be like, oh my God, who is that? Or that's such and such. I never had that personality, right? But sometimes you don't know how you're going to be until something happens. So I had no clue that Jay-Z was going to come to that event because it was a private event. You know what I mean? And, but he did. So he walked in, and I was already kind of, I don't remember if they told me he was in there or if I was already standing there or whatever, but he just came in the joint, and when he came in, he had like paparazzi with him. It was just weird, or a lot of people was taking pictures. And no, he was cool. He just walked out. Well, I was standing in the vicinity of him, and I just asked him for a pic. And he was like, man, I would, but he was like, it's a lot going on right now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, bet. Now, but he was polite, kept it moving, all that. And that's all that really happened. But it's funny because before that, I wouldn't think that I would even ask him for a picture. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm too cool for school sometimes. So in my mind, I wouldn't even think that I was going to do that. But when you're in the moment, and it wasn't like, no, he was just walking past and I just asked him. He was real lay low. And then, everybody walked past. I mean, when he walked past, it was like a whole bunch of like paparazzi taking pictures of him. And it's funny though, because I seen when he walked past Trey Songz, it was just like Trey Songz. I'm not saying like he was nobody, but it seemed like he treated him different than how he probably would have treated him once he turned into Trey Songz. He didn't carry him or nothing, but he act, it wasn't like he knew him like that and he was like, oh, what's good? It was just like, some regular type shit. But yeah, he was real humble, cool, laid back. And for us back then, that meant a lot because not only was Jay-Z there, also Kevin Liles was there. And Kevin Liles is a big executive in the music industry. Yeah. I think he worked with Def Jam. I mean, just put on countless acts.
I think he's doing 300 now. I think he's doing 300 now with Shy Glizzy and all the new artists too, I think.
And I was able to give him my CD. I never forget. He was like, man, he said something like when I gave the CD, he was like, man, this better not be no bullshit or something like that. And I was like, trust me, wait till you listen to the joint. I was on my confidence shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh no, I remember because that was the next question, but you went right into it. So go ahead.
Yeah, I was real confident. You know what I'm saying back then. But nothing came out of that. But it felt good for us to be amongst we felt it really felt good that time because we had so much momentum with the kids products that we was doing, and it just felt like we belonged there. You know what I'm saying? It didn't feel like we were there and we were happy to be there, or we felt we belonged with the who's was who's, and that was the best part about it. You know what I'm saying?
Because like you said, it showed us, to me at that time, even though we were young in the game, it showed us we know how to move around in them rooms, like they say. Because like we were sitting right there and just not really sweating them, and Nick Cannon looked over. I remember he looked over one time and was like, "Man, what's that? There's one of the L Squad, y'all. That's There's one of the L Squad." He had to shout it out because we just sitting chilling, but it's like we supposed to be there. Be like, I don't know who is them niggas. Hold up, bro.
Yeah, but he was real cool and humble too. So
yeah, it was a good time. But before we go to the next question, I'm gonna give my take on that because you might never know how I thought of the moments when what Jay-Z did to me. It's the same thing you said, but like I remember vividly from my perspective. We wasn't arguing. It wasn't a bad or big thing, but I remember my pops or my uncle. Even Uncle Butch probably was cool. Pops was probably kind of like, nah, we just passing the kids CDs out. And I remember taking one of the fam CDs. I'm like, man, fuck you talking about? And I ain't say that to him, but it is my father. I had the energy in when I snatched the CD. Fuck you talking about? And we going to go get shit to Jay-Z and Kevin Liles. So we walked over, and I had the camera with me. Now, from my perspective too, that's why you probably asked. I had the camera, and I was ready to take the picture. And I walked up. You said to Jay-Z what I was thinking. You said that to him, and he was like, man, it's about to get crazy in here. And my mind was like, what the fuck, man? Why he acting funny? But he wasn't even acting funny because 2 seconds later, and I remember this vividly, everybody bum rushed him like with football hype, and it's like everybody, old ladies, all type of shit, like everybody bum rushed crazy, like they trying to tackle him. He took 1 or 2 pictures, slight maybe-ish with an older lady or something like that, and then he went to the whole other corner of the room, and then with the Kevin Liles, but he was cool though. With the Kevin Liles thing, I remember him the exact same thing you said, but I remember him vividly saying, that's why the shot Glizzy sticks out of my mind. Yeah, I think he is doing 300. I remember him saying what you said, but I remember him saying, if it's hot like that, I'm gonna hear about it. I'm gonna see it. You know what I'm saying? I'll be looking. I'm gonna see shit popping in DC. I'm gonna see about it. So like to me, when I seen him do with Shy Glizzy, I was like, okay, he must have seen that. He actually ain't lying. He will fuck with it if you see it. However, they connection, I don't know nothing about. They what's going on over there, but that always. I remember from meeting him though. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that maybe he ain't lying. If he sees some shit, you never know.
Well, let me chime in for a second. I got a question for both of y'all. Just real quick, because I don't want to mess up, the whole program y'all got going on.
No, you good.
I know both y'all related. Both y'all related. It's like, Where does, and both of y'all obviously are into music, right? And
Right.
for,
Right.
that person, cause, nowadays everybody wants to be a music artist. Some people are born with it, some people are not. So where did that
Hmm.
inspiration come from within y'all family for both of y'all to have that kind of passion?
Well, what it was is that my grandfather was a musician, and he played. He actually led choirs, and so that was they. So music was already something that my family or that side of my family was doing. And then when my mom and my uncle and all them, they were all made to get instruments when they were young. I remember my mother was telling me that she didn't want to do the shit. You know what I'm saying? And all of them had to go get instruments when they were young and learn how to play them. And then they did that, and then they played for churches and all that stuff. And then our parents had a group, and they called themselves Hot Ice. And
Yeah.
so they played, you know what I'm saying? So they played these shows and all that type of stuff. So when we were young, that's all they did. That's all that was around us was music. When we were, you know how like your parents take you to your uncle's house, well, we would go play and they would be in the music room practicing and playing music, and you know what I'm saying? That's what they did. So it was something that was just we was already around. And then our uncle was writing our raps and had us doing like little talent shows. So it was like it was something that, you know how you do something, you don't even think about it, like, or just how like some families, everybody goes to the military, or some families, everybody's a
Yeah,
police, or some
yeah,
families, everybody's a fireman. Well, it's in our
right.
family, everybody did music
It's
or was
musicians.
creative. And it's a
Yeah,
lot, and it's a
yeah,
lot of us I mean, it's really weird because it's like, it's a whole bunch of us that do something creative, whether it's film, whether it's photography, whether it's art, whether it's music. You know what I'm saying? It was just what we was around. So it's not like we really like chose it. Like, you know what? One day when I grow up, I'm going to rap. It just was something that just happened because that's what we was around.
yeah. Because the
Yeah.
reason why I'm
Yeah.
asking that, because you got a lot of people that really think that, what I'm saying, they just can get up one day and be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But it starts, it's a root cause analysis, what I'm saying, to
Hell yeah.
how y'all got to be, so passionate about making music. And also just, being creative, period. Because I
Hell
know how
yeah.
creative you are, and I know how creative DJ is. So I'm just asking that question, for people that's going to be listening to the show. Because you got a lot of people, they think they can just wake up one day and be like, okay, I want to do this. So I know it starts from some way. So DJ, can you go ahead and tap
I
on
mean,
that?
I'll chime in real quick because like the thing about art is, and like people can even look at somebody that's been doing it since I was a baby, like LL Cool J. Look at his interviews or something, how he talks about art and stuff. It reminds me of shit I say, and it made me motivational reason. But I'm all over the place. My point is, my pops has DU Records. He started that. He just like he said with his mother. My pops said when they first gave him the bass, he cried. He didn't want the shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh no, I want to go outside and play. But my point is, he also was a true artist. Like he still plays the bass. He's 60 now. He paints paintings. You know what I'm saying? He's not really painting no more, but I'm just saying, like, we really, like, come from people that are artists. Like, that was a normal thing. Like, when I was a baby, I had I was thinking of painting somewhere around the house somewhere with Wile E. Coyote and Bugs Bunny or something. You could see the milk stains on the steel from me hitting it with my bottle. Like, we literally always saw that. Even, like, me specifically, on my mother's side, my mother, that was telling you before, Black, my mother's in the Gospel Hall of Fame. And my father, even though that's my mother's side, my Uncle Steve and certain people on my father's side have went over there with them and went on tour and you know what I'm saying? Because it's all still in the church. So, we're going to collaborate and go, you on the way to church, Black, so you know about that.
Yes, sir. Now, my second part question is, right? And I think they need to know this because I'm telling you, I got cousins, I got friends, that, everybody
Right. Everybody say,
wants to
put me in
get
the
into
studio.
music.
That's the most
Right.
famous question ever.
Everybody. So that's why I'm asking this question because I plan to, share this episode with them to let them know what kept y'all passion alive because clearly y'all showing y'all passion has been consistent. Because some people think, say they are passionate about something and then it dwindles down. You be like, okay, what happened with the music thing? You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
2024, y'all still have that same passion. I can tell by when you and E are talking, it's like I can feel the passion. It's still there. So can
Yeah,
y'all touch on
yeah.
that, to help them out?
Um, I think that the passion was built in us from when we were, I think that, so there was a time period in our life where, we were around each other on a regular basis for like a decade. And in that time, we all had the same dream, right? So you had my uncles were older, were like the leaders. You know what I mean? My Uncle Butch, my Uncle Dave, and my Uncle Steve. And then when you go lower, and then you had my two cousins. You had Zoe and then MLG. And then you go to another generation, and then you got me and DJ. Then you go another generation. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, we had a big family. That's the first thing. And the second thing, we were all chasing the same dream for 10 years. So it's just like going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you make a habit, like going to the gym. If you go to the gym for a long time, it become a habit. It become a lifestyle. It becomes something that you just do without thinking about it. Well, that's what happened with the music. We were literally trying to make it. You know how you hear people say they want to make it? No, my uncle actually quit his 9-to-5 job to focus on the business. You know what I'm saying? And so when you do that for a long time and you chasing a dream, it becomes second nature. And you learn a lot of life lessons that you don't even know that you're learning until you get older and you be able to look back and you wonder why the way that you are, but you were trained to be that way. Like I said, examples, if you were going to boot camp and you was in the military, I mean, it's the same concept, but it was with music. And we were around each other for a decade chasing a dream. So when we stopped chasing, not stop chasing the dream, but when things change and things, everybody started doing their own thing. People started getting older and life just does what life does. It was already, the passion was already built. So it's just something that's like, it's a lifestyle. Like that's the only way I can kind of, what you say, D? What you
Yeah,
think
yeah, it's a
about
lifestyle. That's a good word. That's a good long story short. It's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I mean, you gotta just enjoy doing it. I've had times where I won't say I lost the passion, but I didn't fucking maybe record one song, not even one verse for a whole year. But the reason why was because like life be life, like you say. So like I don't want to, I want to enjoy doing it. Like most artists will do this forever till they're 100. And like, if other people like it or if they get rich and famous, then that's a good bonus. And people don't look at it that way because they see the Drakes and all that and the Jay-Z's. And they don't realize that's like fucking less than 1% of who people that like make it and do it. That's not even that's not even a good gauge to go off of. So most people see that and be like, oh damn, I just freestyled in the car with my boy. I sound better than Jay-Z sounded on this song. I can do da. No, you fucking can't. It's possible. I'm not saying anything's possible, nigga. But like it's like you say, it takes work and effort, and it's just like riding a bike. I always make this comparison because people will be like, you this age and this and that, and I'll be like, okay, it's prime time. The difference is analogy. Olympics is on right now. So there are Olympic bike riders. And there are also niggas like me, you, and Black can go riding bikes right now. You pull up Waldorf, we ride some bikes, you pull up Fort Washington, Ox Hill, downtown, ride the bikes around, and have fun riding bikes. So I enjoy it. Art is like that for me and E. We enjoy riding our bikes. But like if we could make it, we could make rich and get a hit single, whatever. But we're still going to enjoy riding our bikes. And there are some people that have like Jay-Z's and Drakes and Kendrick, and they're like Olympic bike riders if rap was riding a bike. You know what I mean? So it's like people gotta like what he said, if you're not putting the practice in, even if you like my man K.I. Dollar Sign, shout out to him. He freestyles all the fucking time. Sometimes how he used to do back in the day. I'm like, damn, let me freestyle now too. What the hell going on? Like if you're not even putting the work in, then how do you expect to be sharp when it's time to go? So that's the whole thing. Everybody wants to say they want to rap and want to do this or that, but I mean, and I just posted that the other day on my Twitter. Everybody say, Deuce, I'm trying to go to the studio. What's the plan after that? That's the end of the post. That's the whole post. What's the plan after that?
Yeah, but that's what I wanted to, to touch on, because I think a lot of these people that say, they want to do what y'all passionate about, they really don't have that passion there. I think they have for the moment, everybody have a passion in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
you see it eventually that it was never there. And it's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. But I just want y'all to clarify that, you know what I'm saying, because of the amount of time that y'all two have been doing music, and I can still tell by the way y'all talk, y'all passionate about it. Some people don't have it. So when I have these kind of conversations with them, it's not me trying to, shut down anybody. I'm always willing to encourage people, but I want them to hear from y'all who comes from that background and it's been instilled and embedded in y'all DNA by music. So they don't get that part. That's all. I ain't mean to interrupt, but go ahead.
Nah, you good.
No, and it also come. That's why before you got on here, Black, I talked to E about how he used to play basketball and football. Because sometimes the competition's mind state. Some people were all the way on their 50 Cent mode where they just kind of use somebody else's competition, like put Wale, for example, since we're in the DMV, I'll use him. Put him on a dartboard and just put his face there, and then when they do what they do and want to battle him or this or that. But I mean, you got to battle yourself. That's the way. I mean, because you sound like you kind of saying it from an advice perspective. If a nigga's not battling themselves, like I was saying with me, for example, I went a year without doing a song. So this year, I think I'm dropping like 3 albums this year. So it's like you got to be battling yourself. You got to be Deuce versus Deuce, or Mr. 41 versus Deuce Double, or whatever. Be like Eminem, Slim Shady, yeah, same thing. But you got to, he's kind of hitting with that shit too. People don't get it. You got to go against yourself. You got to always challenge yourself. So if you're not challenging yourself all the time, whether you're inside or outside of the studio, or you got a new producer, old producer, or no producer, then you might not really have, you might just not have it.
Yes, sir. And like you said, you know what I'm saying? You don't need nobody. You can always say about a person. When they say, let's go do a song in the studio. What are we doing after this? That right there to tell me everything I need to know about you. You're not passionate about this.
Yeah.
And like you say, there's nothing wrong with that, because like just take that with a grain of salt, because like even me, I'm dropping some stuff. Do I have a concrete super duper plan where I know it's going to go platinum? No, I don't. But are you thinking about a plan? That's the whole thing. Like, I mean, anybody can, like, everybody sounds like Jadakiss when we're in the car freestyling. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you run the show now, D. I just had to, ask a couple of questions and get it out of the way, because I plan to share it.
Oh, no, that was a good little intermission, because at the end of the day, we about to go back into some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? How we, at the times, when he was really, really out there with the super hunger. People know we're not just name dropping this and that. At that time, we were really moving around. So, I'm just kind of go all over the place slightly, really a little bit. But, can y'all still hear me? Yeah. Somebody keep calling my phone. I had to hang up on him respectfully. Matter of fact, it was KI. You must know what I was talking about. I'm shout out to KI Dallas. But, it was a point. One time, shout out to my uncle, Ivan Maurice. We just did a wrong song. His son, Reese, you and him was, he was integral when we were starting doing DU stuff, doing certain technical stuff. We used to call him Corporate Reese. He was helping with so much technical stuff. My point it was one time, I think it was you and Reese that went down to E and it's called HOV did. Chris Brown did some shit too. Like, what did Chris Brown do one time? I remember y'all. I didn't go, but I remember you telling me y'all went to Atlanta. Y'all seen him doing backflips or some shit like that. And this is like you say earlier before he wasn't Chris Brown.
So
this goes to that hunger thing that Black talk about. Go ahead, eat my fault.
So this was we went to this Billboard event, and this, like I said, this was around the time where I was trying to do anything and everything that I could do to make it. And so this was like a some type of Billboard event, and me and one of my cousins was living together, and we decided that we wanted to go. So I got some press packages made for, press packages made. I had what they call it, a headshot. I had my.
You broke up a little bit. You said you had your bio. I don't know. You might have been in a bad spot in the room. You said you had your headshot and your bio. You back now?
Yeah, my head. Yeah, I had a headshot, my bio. And so Reese was, he was going to be the person that was kind of promoting the educational music stuff that we had. So I had my artist stuff and he had his stuff. And I also had, at that time we had our female artist. I had her CD too. And I had her press stuff.
Let me join. Yeah.
And so, hello?
No, I'm still here. I cut you off, my boy. I said shout out Lemmy. My fault.
Okay. And so, so we went down there and, we had a camcorder joint, and Atlanta we go, man. So we went to Atlanta. We went into these events, And it was this guy there. We walking through, and we met this guy named Rhyme Fest. Now Rhyme Fest worked with Kanye West. He helped write his walks, and he had performed. And when he got off, he was asking me and my cousin. Now I didn't know who he was though at the time, and he was just like, man, how'd I do or whatever. And we was like, man, you was cranky, you know what I'm saying? Like, you did a good job, like shit or whatever. Like he was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to, you know, or whatever. He was explaining his situation and everything like that. Now I didn't know he was Rhyme. I mean, he told me his name was Rhyme Fest, but I didn't really realize who he was till later on or whatever. So we keep walking, and then it's this dude performing with like these two backup dancers. And it's on like a small stage. They had like these small stages, and he's dancing and flipping. And me and my cousin each other like, this nigga vicious. Like, we don't know who he was. Long story short, that was Brown and shit. And this was before he actually came out. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know who he was until we got back home, and then his song came on. I'm saying that to say that he's the type of talent that we didn't know who the fuck he was. But you could see right then and there that he was a star. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he was that type of talent. You didn't know shit about him, but just looking at him perform, you could just see his talent was immense right then. So, we still going to the event, and I'm walking, and I got my press thing.
Hey, I don't mean to cut you off, but you know, I get that all the time. But go ahead though.
Oh yeah, I forgot, Black. I forgot who you was, right? So, you talking about the Rhyme Fest, Joe? Or you talking about the CB?
You see how he try to play me? You see how he try to play me, right?
So we walking through the joint, and then we out there, and now this event has like producer panels, A&Rs, all that stuff. That's the reason we went. And so I'm walking, and somebody say, man, that's Timberland out there in that limo. And I was like, for real? But everybody just standing there like, you know what I'm saying? Like they scared or something. I'm like, shit, I don't give a fuck. You feel what I'm saying? I was real hungry at this time. I had my package now. He in the limo. I can't even see who even in the fucking limo. I just walk up to the joint, knock on the window. That's how hungry I was. You feel what I'm saying? I didn't even see him. They just told me he was in that joint. I knocked on the window. Timberland rolled the window down. I was like, so I start giving my spiel. I'm E1, this, I'm the most vicious nigga, you know, I'm doing all that shit. I'm ready to freestyle all that shit, right? So, he was like, what you got? You know what I'm saying? And I told him, and I had my CD, I had the Lemmy CD, and I gave him the joint. He was like, is this shit hot? And I was like, man, I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking all this shit or whatever. So I felt good because I was able to give him my shit. Did I hear from him? No. But I was just explaining the type of hunger I had. I didn't even see who was in the fucking limo. I didn't care. I went and knocked on the window because that's how hungry I was. Okay, we fast forward. We get to the event, and it's this A&R. Now I go to the A&R's room, and it's this dude named KP. Now KP is a guy who worked with T.I., Usher. Now at this time I didn't know that he worked with all of them.
Family, Future, shit. All that, yeah.
All that, but I didn't know none of that shit. So I'm like, I'm so passionate and hungry. So he's sitting at this table. So I go to the table and I'm like, man, what's good? I said, man, I'm trying, can I give you my CD? So he was like, man, I really can't take no CDs. I was like, man, he said, man, if I take your CD, then I got to take everybody's, right? So I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, do you got a business card or anything? You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I could put the CD under the table where don't nobody see it. He was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that or whatever, but I give you my card. So what I did was we had these educational CDs, and in my mind, I wanted him to remember me. And I knew that nobody else would have no shit like that there. So I said, well, can I just give you something? And I was like, this ain't got nothing to do with my music, but we make educational CDs. And if you got a son, or even if you don't, you can give it to somebody who you know. He was like, bet, I'll take that. So I gave him that. Boom. And so we had fun in Atlanta, and there's some other stuff I can't talk about that happened in Atlanta. That was a good time too, right?
Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and cut you off because you married. You a successful, happy married man. You got good.
That was back then. That was back then. But I had a good time. I had a good time in Atlanta, man.
What happened in Atlanta, bro?
I had a good time, Black. That's all I can say. It was memorable. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm asking for the people. That's all.
I met a young lady, man. That's all. You know what I mean? And we had a great friendship while I was down there, man. And so we get back and he gave me his card, right? Now, like I said, now this was a highlight in my music career, period. This actually was one of the best highlights for me. So we get back from Atlanta and, I got the guy card. Now he worked for Sony.
Hey,
So
not
I
to cut you off. Not to
emailed him.
cut you
Now I'm
off.
thinking,
Hey, not to cut you off, but continue with your story because that was the last question. So please go right into that because I know you. I remember you and Pops went up there. I felt like a little bitch. I want to get I want to talk with the nigga, but y'all ain't do the work. Go ahead.
so I emailed him and I'm thinking it's a long shot to really be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But he did seem real genuine though. When he gave me his card, he did have something genuine about him. So I emailed him and I was like, what's up, man? I'm, such and such, da. And he was like, all right, bet. He said, I'll give you a meeting, line it up with my supervisor. I'm not supervisor. My assistant will set it up. And then, we were going to drive to New York. So he set up a meeting. I'm excited like shit. This nigga from Sony Records who has the power to sign me right away says, I will give you a meeting. Tell my uncle about it. We pack up in the van. We drive to New York. We get to New York. We get to the Sony building and they tell us that, he's not there. He's at the BT Award. He didn't get back yet. Now, mind you, my uncle drove 4 hours to New York. We get up there and he's not there. They asked me, did I want to leave the CD? I'm looking around. I see these two red bins full of niggas CDs. No, I don't want to leave my CD because only thing's going to have is my shit going to be in that bin. You feel what I'm saying? So came back. That was a waste of 4 hours, right? But my uncle did it. I appreciate him. Love him for that. You know what I'm saying? We drove back. I hit him again. He said, man, I apologize. I ain't get back in time, whatever. So, this, I could get signed. So this ain't no game. So, what he do? He said, man, come on up again. We drove again, 4 hours. And this time he's there. We get into the room. Now, first of all, I got to describe it because I'm feeling good as shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like I actually got a meeting with Sony. So me driving to New York, that shit felt beautiful. And to go up in that building and get up there, that shit felt surreal to me. I'll never forget that. We go into the building, we get up there. I go in the room, it's me and my uncle, you know what I'm saying? So we go in the jump. He was like, man, it's my fault that, I wasn't here last time. So I listen to whatever you got. Right? So I said, bet. So he had these big ass speakers in his office. It was an office, but he had like these big speakers in there. So I had this song called Lost in the Sauce, right? So I played it. So I put the song on and it's playing, right? At the beginning, it's just music. So he listening and he like, this hip hop? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when the song come on, I'm rapping like a motherfucker, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
Hey, that's your crazy.
so
What
the
you talking
song
about?
come on,
I'm sorry.
right? So I'm rapping like shit, listening to it. He was like, all right, you know what I'm saying? Then he asked me to play something else. So I played, I had this dumbass song that I wouldn't even have played if I went again. Some John was rapping about some girls, but that John, you don't know when you're young. But anyway, I played that joint, right? Then we had a group song. And so, man, I played the group song that we had. So he just looking, you know what I'm saying, listening. Then we had a female artist. We played her shit. So he finished. He said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, you could rap. He said, you could rap. He was like, but you remind me of like Bow Wow or like, you know what I'm saying? What else he say? Ja Rule or something like that. And he was like, you know what I'm saying? And we already got that on the label. He was like, what's different about you? And I was like, well, I'm different myself, the way I look, he said, the way you look. He said, you look like all my friends. And so I'm stuck, right? So I'm like, so my mom was like, yeah, but I may look like, but ain't nobody, I'm talking, whatever like that. He's like, man, look, he was like, he was saying, your female artist, he was like, man, she sound all right, but we got Anne-Marie and Anne-Marie can't even sing like that to me, you know what I'm saying? But she on, so we already got female artists. So I was like, okay. He was like, man, this is what I need from you, man. He was like, you say you from the DC area? He said, I need to hear something about DC. I need to hear something about your home area. You know what I'm saying? They say, the only thing I know there is go-go. He was like, I need a song that's telling me about that, right? Now, this is what he said to me that it didn't resonate with me for some reason, but I understand what he means now. He was saying, man, this business is all about relationships. And I was younger. I didn't know what that really meant, to be honest with you. I didn't understand what he was saying. And I'm thinking to myself, well, nigga, we building a relationship right now. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. Like, okay, yeah. So then, you know what I'm saying? I was thinking, could I do a showcase and all that? So anyway, he was real positive, man, real positive. I can't say nothing from him. And it's funny because Trey know him, but of course he don't know that I write for Trey and all that, but small world. But anyway, so while I'm there, I don't know if you remember Black, but it was a guy that came out named Ray Cash. He only had like one song.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
right.
actually, no. Ray Cash had like 2 songs.
Okay,
Never
so,
know, man. And whatever. So,
oh,
my
Yeah,
fault.
okay, so look.
Respectfully.
She a G.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
he
He
had
did
that
his thing.
John.
Yeah, he
John
did
was
his
fine.
thing. He did his
He
thing.
had that John bumping my music right now. When I saw,
Yeah.
so he said, man, what's different about you? So he was the person who actually signed Ray Cash to his label. So he said something like, I said, you signed Ray Cash? And he was like, he said, this is what he said. He said, man, Ray Cash can rap. He basically said, man, Ray Cash can rap like shit. And he said, when Ray Cash walks in a room, he looks different from everybody. And I'm like, yeah, the nigga like a nerd. I'm thinking in my mind, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, that's who you like? That's all I can think about. Like, in my mind, I'm like, man, I crushed this nigga Ray Cash. I'm just telling you my mentality. And I'm like, he said when he walk in the room, he look different. I'm like, yeah, he wear glasses. He like a nerd when he walk in. He just was so infatuated with Ray Cash. He had the motherfucking posters up. And I had already knew who Ray Cash was, so I was already like, this nigga? You know, that I didn't say that, but that was my mindset. Anyway, we left there. And what I do regret about that is that I never came home and made the type of song that he wanted. I never kept our relationship. He told me it was about building relationships. I ain't sent no Christmas card. I didn't stay in his face. I took that, and because it wasn't successful, I left it alone. But what I should have done was create the song that he wanted me to create about the area or whatever. Send him music from time to time. I should have tried to build a relationship with him, but because I didn't understand what he meant by building relationships, I just left it alone. Things happen for a reason. It is what it is. But that was a great moment because what it did, it showed me that I had what it took. I knew that I had what it took to make it, but that proved to me that I had what it took because I didn't have no label. I didn't have nothing but me. And me by myself, I got a meeting with Sony and was in a situation where if he said, you know what, I would have signed you, I could have changed my life right then and that day. So you have to take, to me, that was a win. Did it happen the way that I would have liked it to happen? No. But was that a confidence booster and a win for me of knowing who I am and what I possess? Yes, because I carry all those type of situations with me to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, from the outside looking in, not to cut you off, I didn't know if you was finished. I always got motivated from just the outside looking in on that. Like, I was on mute and Pops just walked past. I was like, he talking about KP and he smiled and laughed. Nothing negative though. You know what I'm saying? Nothing negative. I'm just using that to joke because like,
Nah.
no, that's pretty much the last question, but anything that you and Black want to do to explain the direct room and then explain on my way to, church, that's pretty much where we at with it. And I'm going to come close up. But look, you got the last laugh because that new shit that came out, this is cranking like a motherfucker. Like, I mean, if nigga can hear it or not, you said all the shit we talked about. You said I used to be talent shows as a kid. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're literally saying the shit we just talked about. So it's like, we always, not to cut you off. I'm sorry. Apologies. We always have heard, just so people know, like, our Black, so I'm giving people background. We always have heard the people, I'm from DC, Section 8 mob. I love Section 8 mob. I was watching that video earlier with, my point is, like, we never really like to throw out, we're from Fort Washington. My shit is called 40 Watts. Because I don't want niggas to, you from Fort Washington? There ain't no gangster from Fort Washington. Who the fuck is he? So everybody always shouts out DC shit. That's what he didn't realize too. But not long story short, it's not even beating a dead horse. When you have the last laugh, the new shit you just dropped, like Black was just saying, the passion of the crisis of that motherfucker. I'm on my way. I was on my way from church. I left today, but I was on my way from church the other day when you sent me to me originally when you first did dropped the video to last laugh, bro. I was texting everybody like, this nigga, my cousin really don't want me to hear the sermon right now, bro. This nigga really don't want me to hear the sermon because I really want to click on this shit so bad, bro. Like, nigga ain't did music in a minute. He just dropped this shit randomly. Like, I
So
gotta
that
click
you
on this,
say
bro.
that, so that segue, I'm gonna fast forward into now. Everything that I told y'all was about my music history. Get into everything because there's a time where I branched off and I got a studio with that my uncle let us share with my uncle. I got to give him shout out. If it wasn't for my uncle Dave, there would be me doing no music, me doing no pod, me not doing anything. He's been the ultimate support this whole journey.
Yeah, nah, definitely. Me and Pop's about to toast it up right after I finish this episode. That's 100% sure. But if you on there too, Black, if you can still hear me, I'd like y'all to say, because we're gonna close out a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and play Last Laugh. We're gonna go ahead back to DJ mode. Like, you know what I'm saying? Deuce Devil, everybody that know me family wise call me DJ. So I'm gonna go ahead into my DJ mode like I'm DJ. So we're gonna transition to that song. But we gotta let them hear Last Laugh. It's not about being disrespectful, it's not about bullying nobody, it's not about joning or bidding on nobody. But we about to let them hear the Last Laugh if they haven't heard it, if they haven't seen the video. But before we do that, like I
Oh
said, let
no,
them know
but
about the
I gotta
rec room and
fast
let them know
forward.
about go
I'm
ahead,
about
go
to.
ahead.
I had a little moment, but I'm back in the building. But no, what I was gonna say is, we had the studio and all that stuff. But to fast forward, there was a time where I wasn't passionate about music no more, right? And so, I wrote for people, but I wasn't trying to do the music like that no more. So in that, I got to give Black, and it's time to give Black his credit because what happened is I wasn't doing the music, didn't want to do the music anymore. I just lost the passion, lost the drive. Wasn't nothing negative, but I just ain't feel like doing it, right? So when we fast forward, Black, who's on the call with us now, I never thought this the crazy part. The crazy part is that I went to this church, right? And my band had pressed me out to go. And they not evangelize, but what they call it when prophecy. It's like a prophecy church type thing, right? So he was like, man, I really want you to come up this joint. And I'm like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Cool. Cause he gave his life over to Christ and everything like that. So he wanted me and my wife to come up the joint. But this is way after that. So I go up the joint and, the lady's coming by, she's prophesizing on everybody's life or whatever. So she gets to me. And she starts saying, she starts telling me all this stuff that is no way that she could have known unless she knew me. You feel what I'm saying? So she starts telling me about stuff in my life, and I'm like, okay, like she don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like she doesn't know me to know these things that she's saying. So then she said, you're gonna talk to the world, and she was like, you're gonna do it really soon. And I'm just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, not that I don't believe her, but, and she was, I just didn't understand what she meant, right? But everything she was saying was right, but I had no clue. 2 years passed, and then Black hits me and says that he's going to do he want to do a podcast. Long story short, I'm going to speed it up. He said he wanted to do a podcast, and he ended up, texting our group chat. We got a group text, said he want to do a podcast. I'm not gonna lie, I was ignoring not ignoring, but I was like, man, I don't really want to do no podcast. I'm cool or whatever. Black called me personally and asked me to do the Instagram stuff. So I said, you know what? I'll do the Instagram stuff, but if I'm gonna do the Instagram stuff, I'm gonna talk. Fast forward, we did a couple test ones, and Black ended up doing his own thing with his own pod, but at that point we had already done a couple pods and we had already fell in love with it, and that's how the Rec Room pod that's how the Rec Room pod came about. So Black, I gotta say thank you for that, man, because everything we doing now stemmed from you starting the pod.
Man, listen, I just like to say that, I wanted to do the podcast because, that saying, you want to know what your future look like, and I'll show you who your friends are. And one thing about being around, and there's 7 of us in the crew, and I grew a lot being around E, just watching them become, being single to, getting into a relationship and being engaged and being married, vice versa with Trey, Alex, and Reek. And, I grew a lot watching them, because, and this no shade towards the guys that I grew up, being around, but it's like they made me grow a lot, and the conversations that we have, and I watched my man Terrence, who almost lost his life in the worst accident that possibly, I think, honestly, me and you, we probably would have never even survived that accident. It's just that Terrence
Man,
is
not at all, bro.
he's a bigger
Resilient,
guy.
bro.
Yeah, he's a bigger guy than with me. My body probably would have been all over National Harbor, spread all through the place if that was me. So I'm not, I'm a little guy. But you know what I'm saying? Just watching and listening to them over the years, they inspire me, and I was like, nah, something has to be done. So I always had this thing about having a podcast. It just so happened that I lost a very close friend to me who was very near and dear to me. And let me tell you something. Me and him, we used to have conversation. It's nothing like having a friend that you can have a conversation with that's not going to use it against you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got friends like you think they're your friends. They're listening to you, but they are sharpening their knives on everything you're saying and waiting to stick you with it at your most vulnerable moment. Oh, you remember when you said, you know what I'm saying? He was one of those type of guys I can have these vulnerable conversations with, where my pride and ego, man, we are born with that disease called pride and ego. Can't no doctor ever cure that, so I can always be comfortable around them. And I can be comfortable around E. I can be comfortable around Trey. I can be comfortable around Alex, Ed, Reed, Terrence. I can be comfortable around those people. You know what I'm saying? So when he passed away, and I mentioned this during our podcast too, DJ. I don't know if you remember this. It's, you can have, you know what I'm saying, you can have good intentions, but you can always make a bad judgment call at the same time. So when I wanted to start this podcast with all 7 of us, I had good intentions, but I made a very bad judgment call. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was, at the time I was going through a spiritual battle. Mind you this, I was in church, 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in the world. I'm not going to lie. I was that dude. I would go into church, sit down, and you didn't even know that, you know what I'm saying, the night before, I was out there, you know what I'm saying, riding around with a gun on my lap and popping pills and sleeping around with a woman that was not my wife. I was that guy. I'm not going to lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to lie. I was, so I was battling. So when that death occurred, I had to make a decision. And I knew I wanted my brothers. I wanted the crew to be all involved, but the way I presented, the way I presented the situation, it was very selfish. It was like in a selfish way, but you didn't want to make it look like it was selfish. You know what I'm saying? If you get what I'm saying. They were like, okay, we're going to do the podcast. That's what we're going to talk about. No cursing. It's all about, you know what I'm saying? But I really wanted my brothers to be there. But at the time, the way they would eat and everybody eat like, yo, Black, it don't make no sense. Like, Black, is this your podcast? Or I didn't get it. Because at the time, my mind was not, I wasn't operating, you know what I'm saying, in a reasonable, logical, it was all emotions. Because I was trying to fill an emotional void because I just lost a very good friend of mine. So anyway,
That's deep.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So make a long story short, we had to part ways and E had a plan. One thing that me and E spoke out a couple of nights ago. He had a plan. He like, Black, this, that, and the third. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to have a YouTube. And he really did that. But I told E, and, at the time, I'm like, E, I can't do this. Because something in my spirit just wasn't right. It was like God was calling me to move in a different direction for my brothers. And that's the worst feeling. That was the worst feeling for me, that I really wanted all of us. But it was good intention, but it was a bad judgment call on my part, the way I presented the situation.
But we here now. We here now.
But
But that's what But that's why he said he gave you your flowers, because like nigga, this from the outside looking in. From both, I seen your podcast, and he always have told me of you in the situation because we're family. But my point I'm making, I seen like you're basically on your way to church, Black. I seen my grandmother earlier that's in the Gospel Hall of Fame. My mind thought, and I didn't say that to her, like I need to give my man Black jump. But again, we talked about she's older, she ain't gonna know how to work the pod with Podbean. But like I mean, like it's just different shit. I mean, everybody got different, it's different stuff. You know what I'm saying? But it's like everything happened for a reason though.
But
man.
Go ahead, Black.
Yo, but I want to say, man, shout out to having This Is Why, and I mentioned this on my last episode, and I said this on my last episode that I did. His death really shined the light. It was a burden, and it drained me, like mentally, physically, emotionally. It drained me, but his death became a blessing because it shined a light on who your friends are. You know what I'm saying? So now, I can go on, do my show. I can call E, be like, yo, E, I ain't got nobody, like, let me call my cousin DJ. And then me and you got we're networking. It's like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
That like your flowers
you know what I'm
again.
saying?
Like you probably don't realize me. But look, you probably don't realize I don't really know 20 Bello like that. 20 Bello know of us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Same way like E reached out to Dre all day in the paint. We didn't really rock with Dre like some people really rock with him. It's like, he like, oh, how can I not fuck with Deuce? How can I not fuck with Cuz? I see it's a movement. I got to go fuck with the movement. I'm with that shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what the devil meant for, you know what I'm saying, meant for bad, God meant for good, man. Because it really could have destroyed our friendship, like seriously. I'm not even playing. It came to a point that it could have destroyed, and my friendship means more. I don't care, and I'm going to say this respectfully. The Rec Room Podcast is the umbrella. We are all under it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I told you that. But I'm telling you right now, I don't care nothing about none of that bullshit. Yeah. If I have to lose my friendship with E, trade all over podcast, I don't want it. No, so it really could have destroyed it, man. So I definitely gotta give a shout out to E and the rest of the brothers, the way they handled it. Cause it really could have really went bad.
And that's a good segue. I just want, while we doing it, I'm gonna just plug the podcast, the Rec Room. We pod every Thursday at 8 p.m. on Podbean. You can catch it on all your streaming services, Spotify, all that good stuff. I know I was just talking about the music, but I hadn't put out a song in a minute, and I did just put out a new single. It's called Last Laugh. Follow me on Instagram, or follow the Rec Room Pod at Instagram. You can also follow my artist page, which is E1_official. And there I have if you go to the link, you can click on it and you'll see the video. The single called Last Laugh is on all the streaming services. So, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. I just did like a one-off. If I get inspired to do another joint, I will. Niggas still can't fuck with me. I'm gonna go ahead and talk my shit a little bit. You feel what I'm saying?
Talk your shit, nigga. Talk your shit, nigga.
I'm still E1. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that with that. But I want to say I thank you, Black, and I appreciate you, Deuce, for having me on this joint.
Yes, sir. Let me plug my name. O.M.W. Church. On my way to church. Check me out. I do my show once in a month. If you want to be on the show, feel free to contact DJ. He's going to plug you on to me. We'll have a great conversation. I'm willing for everybody. I don't want anybody to think it's like some kind of religious platform. It's called On My Way to Church. I named it that for a reason because I'm on my way to church. These are the people that I was around before I got into church. I don't want to talk to religious people. I want to talk to real people. So if you're interested, hit DJ. That's all I got to say.
Hey, he calling me DJ. That's me. Everybody that know me, his family is DJ, Deuce Double, Mr. 40 Watt. But look, I'm gonna just transition. And again, we about to play that song, that Last Laugh, because we got the Last Laugh. And I'm gonna give you one more Last Laugh. I just got a joke real quick to tie in everything. Priest of Nomad, shout out to Priest of Nomad again. Like, he just posted something the other day about the Waffle House. I don't know if you've seen that, E. Like, that shit is hilarious. But go click. I sent it to you. Amber was laughing at it, your sister. But like, it's so funny because like, okay, I'm tying this all in. Y'all might not understand. I'm clarifying how Black did for us. Like, the Rec Room got started from the stem of On My Way to Church. And you wouldn't be hearing go-go therapy if it wasn't for On My Way to Church. But the whole point of On My Way to Church, don't think it's too churchy. Like, I'm using the parable of Priest the Nomad, the little funny thing he got on the internet with the Waffle House. If you go to the Waffle House, you'll see, you go to Waffle House, you might see somebody from church, you might see somebody from the street, you might see somebody from a corporate office, but the Waffles is on 10, but somebody might beat you up in the Waffle House. It's fucking dry ignorant. It's regular. They get the record in that motherfucker. And nigga, it's late night. It's 2, 3 in the morning. That's the only thing that's open, nigga. That's what's open. So
come in there and catch a wreck, bro.
Gotta get some food.
Come check in the rec room and catch a wreck. That's all they doing. We just catching wrecks, bro. Go to the rec room every Thursday night. Hit him, dudes. If you try to get him, he gonna get in touch with E. And, the brothers, they just catch wreck. They talk about everything. Politics, the days, whatever's going on today. Just catch wreck. That's all. In a respectable manner.
Yes, sir.
No, but that's a shameless promo. But if y'all don't get it, y'all need to go look up Priest the Nomad. He's a beast with the music too. He's a beast with the engineering, mixing. Like you must have just tuned in the last 15, 20 minutes if you don't know what I'm talking about. But now look up you'll see it. Cause I don't even know. I was trying to repost that jump with the Waffle House. I'm gonna send it to you so we get off the phone, cause it's hilarious, bro. Like it's literally hilarious. Cause like nigga, at the end of the day, we getting the last laugh. Like I said, that's what Waffle House is about. That's why I'm just chiming if people haven't seen it yet. But off the late night, where you go to the Waffle House, everybody going there. You have a good laugh, you get some good food, get something in your stomach before you go to sleep, get up in the morning to go to work in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. Like, you on the way from church, you coming back from church. Cause I just came back from church. You gotta be careful. We in the rec room, we talking it out, we honoring it out. But if they outside, Bama said they want to be outside, they get the record outside. And then, and like I say, and if they listen to me right now, they're like, Deuce is tripping, he needs some therapy. That's why we on go therapy right now. Love y'all niggas, man. Appreciate y'all coming through, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Peace.
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 Dreams making it big, talent shows as a kid. Shovel past and I dig, destined is how I live. My aura, just imagine a youth filled with passion, entrenched in the culture. Music was at the altar, I married it, never cheated. Got friends who been deleted, deserving to be conceited like people that shop in Neiman's. Determined to be a vessel, my voice is even special. I dance with the devil on all types of levels. His face wasn't red, no horns was in his head. Resemble me instead in the mirror like, am I there? Perception is never clear when you drowning in your fears, they laugh. When you down, when you up, they all cheer. Duality is reality, paint with no canvas. Souls that breed envy end up with less chances. Fortune is in the flesh, celebration is in the death. Being humble is still a flex, I'ma do it to nothing left. For anybody thought that I would follow, I would crash. Forever in my bag, I'ma get the last laugh. They try to pull you down, plain face, no mask. That's not even a half, I'ma get the last laugh. It's like they was sent, try to push you off your path. And that's where we clash, I'ma get the last laugh. Or anybody thought that I would follow, I would crash. Forever in my bag, I'ma get the last laugh. Stand out in every crowd, my presence is always loud. The higher they see me peak, the more that I hear they mouth. Oblivious be they nature, serenity's in my pen. Dwell in genuine dealings and watch who you call friend. Perfection is self-reflection, expecting the unexpected. The hustle, my third eye. Promise never neglected, expecting what I endure, resulting in words pure. Satisfaction is temporary, persistence to wanting more. My enemies dressed in cloaks, your peers could be demons, disguised as real guys, red eyes, you could see them. Assess every loss attributed to the game. Anxiety brought it out of me, consequences of pain. Subdue it to stay sane, counterfeits, run immense. Situations when y'all was tense, I wouldn't even have flinched. My life got intense as my thoughts got drenched. Infinite lessons learned. Now I know it was meant. For anybody thought that I would follow, I would crash. Forever in my bag, I'ma get the last laugh. They try to pull you down, plain face, no mask. That's not even a half, I'ma get the last laugh. It's like they was sent, try to push you off your path. And that's where we clash, I'ma get the last laugh. Or anybody thought that I would follow, I would crash. Forever in my bag, I'ma get the last laugh. No truth will be